Yes, but I was one invited, and it was only late that I was told that she couldn't come because she's in trade union negotiations. But they were invited. They sent a message, and they've sent this message to us, giving their reaction to this meeting and to the 25th anniversary. I said I'd read it to you. Movement Against Pit Closures was formed in 1984 to draw together the thousands of women from the mining communities who started up women groups in the strike to support miners in their fight to save jobs, communities, and to keep pits open. Women were on picket lines, ran soup kitchens, food centres. Many were arrested, injured, imprisoned. We marched on rallies, spoke on platforms, and through it all have emerged more strong and resilient. After 25 years of development and promoting an active organisation of working class women who resist the destruction not only of the mining community, but the trade union movement as a whole, we will stay strong and be prepared to fight again and again. As we celebrate the 25th year since the strike, we remember our brothers and our sisters who are no longer with us. We remember David Jones and Joe Green, killed on the picket line, and remember our sacked miners from the struggle, over 1,000 of them, many of them who've never got a job ever since the strike. And we pay tribute to the Justice for Mine Workers campaign, who continue to support and campaign for victimised miners and their families. We as women will continue to work in our work within the communities and in our campaign for coal, along with the National Union of Mine Workers and in the general struggle. The friendships and active links with women and men in every area of struggle in this country and abroad will continue and strengthen. We are women, we are strong. Brenda Proctor, Bridget Bell, Anne Scargill and Betty Cook, on behalf of Women Against Pit Closures. There were incidents during that strike which defy description and sometimes are beyond belief. The things that we did and the things that we had to contend with have got yet to be written. But I've been blamed time and time again for not calling a ballot. That claim is a lie. We organised on the 8th of March 1984 area strikes in accordance with our rule book under a rule called National Rule 41. But we did something more than that. In response to requests from miners and from areas of the union, none of whom argued to call off the area strikes, we agreed to convene a national delegate conference on the 19th of April 1984 to consider whether to have a national ballot or whether we should support the people on strike and call upon others to give support and not across picket lines. At that conference, Magaki, Heathfield and myself had calculated that the vote for a national ballot would carry the day. We were prepared for that, and we had already prepared posters, leaflets, ballot papers. Although all three of us believed that the right course of action was to carry on the strike that we had with 80% of our members out on the street. And it was incumbent in our view that other workers, particularly in our industry, should come out on strike and support them. But as Democrats, we put those resolutions to the conference in a very impassioned debate, led in by Peter Heathfield, concluded by me. The arguments were so emotional, so persuasive on all sides, that one area delegation had a meeting and changed its view. And that's why they voted by 58% in a Democratic conference to support the area strikes and not come out and strike in a national ballot. I believe they were right. I believe that history, as Castro once said, will absolve us. And I believe it was incumbent upon those trade union leaders who did nothing to have come out and given support to workers who were involved in struggle. I've never crossed a picket line in my life. To me, it's the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not cross a picket line. And yet we had the appalling scandal of people like Hammond in the EETPU and Lyons in the Electrical Managers Association advising and instructing their members to cross picket lines. We were told that the stocks of coal were so high that we couldn't win. Another lie. At the start of the strike, I knew what the coal stocks were. In the power stations, they had between 20 and 26 weeks supply. In the cement industry, a vital industry, they had 16 weeks supply. But the most vulnerable of all was the giant steel industry, where stocking space was limited and they only had 6 weeks stock. It might surprise people in this hall to know that at the start of the strike, Sir Robert Haslam, chairman of British Steel at the time, laid off 160 workers at Scunthorpe because they could run short of coal within 4 weeks. They were also warned that unless they got supplies of coal in a quick period of time, they would have to close the entire plant by the 18th of June. You may remember that the 18th of June was the Battle of Orgreave. What I didn't know at the time, and I've learned since, is that despite a clear instruction from the NUM that there should be no dispensation, no agreement with the ISDC, the Steelworkers Union, no agreement with British Steel to take coal into the steel plants to keep their coke intact and to keep their boilers from breaking down. 3 areas of our union gave dispensations against that instruction. They were Scotland, South Wales and Yorkshire. And it was only when it became clear that British Steel were breaching even that localised agreement in those 3 areas that the miners in those areas said we're not prepared to carry on any longer. In Yorkshire, the seamen had blocked off the port at Scunthorpe. The wharf had been effectively sealed off by our pickets. The rail workers, to their eternal credit in the NUR and ASLEF, had refused to move a ton of coal. Orgreave was the right target at the right time. On the 18th of June 1984, we brought that plant to a standstill. We've got the telex sent out